Shalom. Wase Kalalal, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKakodash, Tablanas to the apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the Akim pushing this word in sincerity and truth. This is a brother from GMS Jamaica coming at you with another lesson. Hopefully it will be edifying. Alright, so I'm going to start with 2 Timothy 2 and verse 15. It says, study. Alright, it says, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Alright, so here we have a foundation precept, really, studying to show yourself approved unto God, unto the Most High, not man. Alright, this involves putting yourself towards this thing, putting yourself 100% into this word, because studying to show yourself approved, is not necessarily if you just gather knowledge. It's not like studying for a test where you try to cram and memorize as much information as possible so you can get the test right. Is to actually know and understand what you're doing, what you're getting yourself into, right, as it pertains to the scriptures, the doctrine. Right, continuing, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Right, rightly dividing the word of truth. Hence we have breakdowns, where we break down the scriptures as it says in Isaiah, right, line by line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, right, because you have to understand how the scriptures were even set up, right, as I quote the scripture a while ago, to get the full understanding of a subject. Not all the time, right, you will find all the information in a one chapter or one verse, right. You go to different chapters, different verses, hence why you have certain Bibles have something what them call a cross-reference, so basically you cross-reference other verses, other chapters, to actually prove a point or to solidify a point on a specific subject. Alright, so with that being said, this now is an article on the Feynman learning technique. Now, I did a video, mentioning this technique before. Not sure if it's still on the channel. It's been a while. It's a long time. But jumping into the article, it says the Feynman learning technique is a simple way. I'll not be reading the entire article. I'll just be going over some points, and then get back into some scriptures. What I'll do is I'll leave the link in the description for the article. Trust me, it's very edifying. Alright, it says the Feynman learning technique is a simple way of approaching anything new you want to learn. Why use it? Because learning doesn't happen from skimming through a book or remembering enough to pass a test. Exactly. Alright, information is learned when you can explain it and use it in a wide variety of situations. Right, and brothers can attest to this. See, when it comes to the scriptures, you can apply the scriptures on a broader scale than what most people would actually know, or than what most people would actually see. a lot of people just see the Bible as religion. See, religion, and people see religion as something bad. Most people only see religion as something bad because them are do something bad. You know what I mean? Them say, oh, religion cause war and division and all of that. Seen, but really and truly, them just a try hide from the fact that you only hate religion because it shows up, especially when it comes to the scriptures. You know what I mean? Well, I'm not gonna say them only hate it because them are the wickedly. You know what I mean? Because um Christianity are one of the biggest confusions in the world right now. Seen, and it's one of the biggest religions. Seen, so a lot of people hate religion overall because of Christianity, right? But yeah, as I say, going back to the point, information is learned when you can explain it and use it in a wide variety of situations. The Feynman learning, and I'll get back to that point. Right, the Feynman learning techniques gets more mileage from the ideas you encounter instead of rendering anything new into isolated, useless factoids. Alright? When you really learn something, you give yourself a tool to use for the rest of your life. That's true. Alright? It says the more you know, the fewer surprises you will encounter, because most new things will connect to something you already understand. Woo! Wow. That is a beautiful that is a beautiful quote. And I mean, and it even go back to the scriptures, there is nothing new under the sun. Right? Yeah, ultimately the point of learning is to understand the world, but most of us don't bother to deliberately learn anything. We memorize what we need to as we move through school, that's right, then forget most of it as we continue through life. We don't extrapolate from our experiences to broaden the applicability of our knowledge. Consequently, life kicks us in the ass time and again. To avoid the pain of being bewildered by the unexpected, the Feynman technique helps you to learn to turn information into knowledge that you can access as easily as a shirt in your closet. Alright, so I'm not gonna read the entire article, as I say. It's very long, so I'm just gonna read from here to where it says 4. Alright, it says there are 4 steps to the Feynman learning technique. Based on the method Richard Feynman originally used, we have adapted it slightly after reflecting on our own experiences using this process to learn. The steps are as follows. 1. Pretend to teach a concept you want to learn about to a student in the 6th grade. Alright, identify gaps in your explanation. Go back to the source material to better understand it. Number 3, organize and simplify. And last, transmit the information, which is optional. Alright, so alright, as I said, I'm gonna read everything. So go. Alright. Alright, so yeah, so basically, in order to as it pertains to the truth, and this information here, right, in order to be able to actually teach this thing, or to teach the word, do videos, you have to actually understand what this is about in the first place. Each subject requires understanding in order to be able to teach it precisely and accurately, right? So the method is that, look, in order to know if you truly understand a subject, right, you try teaching it to somebody younger than you, somebody with a limited vocabulary, so to speak, right? See, and if you can teach somebody, right, or teach a young child, and them actually understand it, then then that shows that you truly understand what you're doing, and you truly know where what you're teaching. See, and that can be applied to studying the scriptures as well. See, let's say, for example, Gentiles, right? To truly understand it, you get somebody. It doesn't have to be a child. You can get somebody who might be a little slower than you. It can be one of the examples then what the article even give is that you can try teaching it to an inanimate object, or even by yourself. You grab a topic and you just start teach it, and wherever you pause, say, yo, alright, me need to catch up on this part, me need to get more understanding on what happened here, right, and so on. The more you go into it, that's how you rightly divide the word of truth to actually get the true understanding. All right, so I'll go to 1 Corinthians. These are the precepts I did have from the inception of this video, but yeah. Alright, so this 1 Corinthians 14 and verse 8. It says, "For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? So likewise ye, except ye utter by the tongue words easy to be understood, how shall it be known what is spoken? For ye shall speak into the ear." Right. A lot of times we try to teach certain people, especially when we just come to the truth and the spirit hot, right? We are trying to teach everybody we see, but for some reason a lot of people don't get the knowledge you have put out, so you realize you have to try to take it from different angles, and another thing is that people afraid to accept the fact that them don't know something as well. So a lot of times they will teach and them actually not get what you teach, but them pretend to understand it. See, and hence a lot of the times you have debates. Right? A lot of the times you end up having a debate because two parties and none of them really understand what the other one is actually putting out, right? So hence that lead to strife, confusion. But going back to this, it says, "How shall it be known what is spoken? For ye shall speak into the ear." Right. Basically try using less big words, break it down, right? As Paul say, to win can't quote it, right? But basically he's saying that, look, to win certain people you had to become as them, so to going back to even the example the Feynman technique, right? In order to get a child to understand, you have to come down to a child's level, use words that the child can understand, right? Words that the child can relate to. See, and that's how you actually understand the subject. All right, continuing, says, "There are, it may be, so many kinds of voices in the world, and none of them is without signification. Therefore, if I know not the meaning of the voice, I shall be unto him that speaketh a barbarian." Yep. "And he that speaketh shall be a barbarian unto me." Now, this basically, goes into language as well. Like, unlike these so-called Christians, right? If you have somebody speak in another tongue, which these Christians babble and claim to be speaking in tongues, not even knowing what the word tongue mean. And for edification's sake, the word tongue just means language. Alright? By right, if you are speaking another tongue, you're supposed to have a translator. Right? Just like how you have on the TV, right? You have a speaker and you have somebody with a sign language. We have the sign language, you know what I mean, so that the deaf can understand what is being said. Alright? Let's see. Oh yeah, let's go down to verse 25. Cause really at the end of the day, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, this thing that we are do is not only to build us as individuals, to help us understand the scriptures, understand ourselves, understand our doctrine, our heritage, right? But also when we go out and when we come together, it's all about edifying, right? Not just for spit out a bag of knowledge, right? And at the end of the day, nobody understands what you were saying. Nobody got anything significant from what you were saying, right? It's all about edifying and edification. So in order to edify, you have to know, you have to be as simple as possible, because the thing with people is, as I said before, people fear knowledge, right? So then we pretend like them know something and them actually don't know. Alright? So last precept, 1 Corinthians 14 verse 24. But if all prophesy, and there come in one that believeth not, or one unlearned, he is convinced of all, he is judged of all, and thus are the secrets of his heart made. Verse 26 minute read. Yeah, it says, how is it then, brethren, when ye come together, every one of you hath a psalm, hath a doctrine, hath a tongue, hath a revelation, hath an interpretation? Let all things be done unto edifying. Alright? And the last point I want to get out of the article is very important, and personally it goes right back to the first precept that was read. Alright, it says, what does it mean to know? Richard Feynman believed that the world is much more interesting than any one discipline. He understood the difference between knowing something and knowing the name of something, as well as how. When you truly know something, you can use that knowledge broadly. When you only know what something is called, you have no real sense of what it is. You can't take it apart and play with it, or use it to make new connections and generate new insights. When you know something, the labels are unimportant, because it's not necessary to keep it in the box it came in. Alright? So just to go back over that, it says, when you truly know something, you can use that knowledge broadly, right? And that goes right back into the scriptures, into the first scripture we read. It says, rightly dividing the word of truth, right? And in order to be able to use the scriptures broadly, right, you have to be able to divide it, break it down, pull it apart and pull it back together. See, a lot of things, a lot of paths, right? A lot of avenues that the scriptures bring with. Me personally wouldn't even know, the scriptures could have actually go down that path, right? When it comes to health, how you deal with women, right? How you deal with people, how you deal with children, the laws, right? Keeping yourself clean, right? All of these things I wouldn't even know, the scriptures going at that, and a lot of people don't know, the scriptures go down these paths, and the scriptures is all about how to live. See, it's the history of our people. It contains our laws, right, and our heritage. Seen? So yeah, once you truly understand something, you'll be able to use the knowledge broadly. So with that, hopefully this lesson was edifying. Once Kalalali how Bashimi how shy, Bashima Kakudash, the apostles of Great Stone. Shalom.